Welcome to podcast number 100 of Legal Talk with Hahn Hahn attorneys. What a great achievement. And here to share it with us today is Hahn Hahn's Merilynn Plessis. Merilynn, hello and welcome, and also congratulations.
Hi, Jan. Yay. I actually want to, put emojis on clinking of glasses, but it's a little bit difficult online.
Yeah, you can send me some afterwards. But yeah, I think that's great because, a lot of people start stuff, especially stuff like podcasts, and they don't actually go through with it. They give up after the 20th one, even if they even get so far, or after the 10th one. Consistency.
And thank you for eRadio, obviously.
Yeah, but you too, because there's no podcast without you guys.
It's a joint effort. We are very excited.
I can't give myself legal advice. That will be disastrous.
100th episode, Jan, I think that you can.
Yeah. Oh, yes. That's a very good answer, Merilynn. Yeah, I think so. I definitely know.
Indeed, right?
You are. You're brilliant. You caught me there. But you know what? I think, I can actually feel it, My knowledge when it comes to law, is so good. I'm probably a month or two away from quoting the laws and going section 1, 2B. From 1985.
Act number what and that and schedule this.
Yeah, but I'm not that good yet. I'll leave that to you.
Well, we'll hope you can get your degree soon.
Jeez, but it's nice, and that's what I like about Legal Talk is, we help people without even realizing it, and we share knowledge, and knowledge is power.
Yes, especially with, the terrible reality that it's not always accessible to everybody.
Yeah, shame, man. So I think this is a really, really nice service. And we have something special to celebrate the 100th episode. Yeah. But Merilynn's going to tell us all about that just at the end of this podcast. So now you have to listen all the way to the end to get it. But right, Merilynn, today you're joining us to tell us some news. You're here to tell us about the groundbreaking news in electricity law.
Yes, I think it goes perfect with our 100th podcast. There is some groundbreaking news that really will have a quite significant effect on electricity law, electricity supply, tariffs, charges, quite everything. And I think it's quite a huge project that this act has implemented. So I'm actually very, very excited about it.
Okay. And what are the biggest changes that this amendment will have on our country?
Okay, so let me first tell you. So on the 20th of August, Mr. Ramaphosa, our president, signed in and assented new law, which is called the Electricity Regulation Amendment Act. But before we even speak about these changes, it's very important to note that this is similar to POPI, as even though the act is there and the amendments have been brought, it is not effective yet. So it will only become effective on proclamation by the president in the Government Gazette. So we hope to see that these changes will be implemented soon and be effective, but we're still waiting. Like I said, it's quite a huge groundbreaking change in electricity law. So what I'll do is I'll just highlight some of it. I think everybody needs to be in tune for our next podcast so that we can delve into other aspects. But the amendment deals with a lot of things, such as how customers will be charged. And when I say that, it would be more in detail. There will now be penalties for the removal or illegal possession of cables, equipment, or infrastructure. And those penalties can go up to 10 million rand. And
sure.
But I think that the most important focus, and especially for today, is that should this become effective, there'll be a huge shift in the monopoly of our electricity supply authority being Eskom.
How is this going to change, Merilynn?
Okay, so just to provide the listeners background, how electricity currently works is that electricity is only being generated by Eskom or municipalities. So your supply is very limited. And I mean, South Africa has obviously seen a lot of great difficulty and has been suffering under the limited supply due to our limited suppliers. The Act now seeks to change this monopoly in that after the proclamation of the effective date, a new entity will be established, which is required to be independent, unlike Eskom. And the entity's name will be called Transmission System Operator SOC, so I'll call it TSO. And how this changes the monopoly is that the Act will now start allowing the generation of electricity by anybody. So where it was always Eskom and municipalities, the market will be open for any person, including importing electricity, or any person who will obviously have to comply with certain rules. So it opens up a competitive market to anybody that can generate and supply electricity. The Act sets out the TSO to be created within 5 years from the effective date. But in the meantime, there's a company called the National Transmission Company South Africa, which is currently a separate trading subsidiary of Eskom, will be trading as a TSO. Until the TSO is formed. Now, before we get sad about that, the very nice thing is that before Eskom or this entity will be able to trade as a TSO, this new independent body, it will still have to apply to NASA for conditions. And the nice thing about this is that it effectively gives NASA an opportunity to reinvent the wheel, if I could say it like that. So let's say everything that we are bound by with Eskom, this is all going to have to be set in motion from the beginning, allowing NASA and the government to change a lot of the rules.
Okay, Merilynn, and what will the TSO be doing?
Okay, so the TSO will be tasked with the duties of transmitting, being a system operator of our electricity, a market operator, and a central purchasing agency. This means the TSO will independently act as the conduit of transmitting electricity, which Eskom used to do, be the operator of our systems, and then fulfill the role of the wholesale buyer to maintain system integrity during, after, and into the transition of a competitive electricity. So basically, the TSO will be the hub of where all our new transmission and everybody who wants to import and everybody who wants to bring electricity, the central person who you would relate to would be the TSO.
So, Merilynn, what are the benefits of these changes?
Okay, so obviously South Africa will no longer be dependent on Eskom as a monopoly holder, and this will attract investments by allowing importing of electricity and allowing any other body to generate electricity. Having said that, tariffs and your fees that are charged will now be distinguished, so there'll be a difference in tariffs and charges from Eskom and your municipality to these new bodies that will come and generate electricity, who will be able to supply the electricity directly to the end users and thereby cutting out Eskom and the municipality, etc. This, I think, is a huge change because of our constraints in our supply. And I think that this might be good for, one, our end users and our economy at the end of the day. However, there's multiple changes still to be discussed, so I do suggest that everybody stay tuned for our next podcast.
Thank you, Merilynn, there with some breaking news. And that's very, very interesting indeed. And now, Merilynn, you can spill the beans. It's obviously episode 100 of Legal Talks podcast on eRadio with Hahn Hahn. What have you got for us that's special today?
Ooh, okay. So, listeners are to listen up. The first two listeners that email me within the next week using the subject line eRadio 100th podcast will receive a half an hour consultation for free. So my email address is Merilynn@hahnlaw.co.za, and I'm going to spell it. It's MERILYNN@hahnlaw.co.za. Hahn, HAHN. So once again, the first 2 listeners that email me will receive a half an hour consultation for free.
That's wonderful, and I'm so glad you spelled your name, because we don't want them to send an email to Merilynn at Hahn Law.
That's right. That is right.
If the email is a Merilynn.
When in doubt, we have our website there.
Exactly.
If listeners will forget, it's just very important that listeners remember to place in there the body of the email, the subject line as eRadio 100th podcast.
Yeah, don't forget to do that. Yeah.
Yes, don't forget. Otherwise, yes.
Yeah, otherwise you get nothing.
Very excited to hear who's coming for our consults.
Yeah. Merilynn, thank you so much. Until we chat again, this has been very interesting, and happy 100th podcast to you.
Yes, great. Thank you. And thank you for eRadio for making it happen.
Thank you, Merilynn. We'll chat again soon.
Thank you.
Are you or your business in trouble and struggling to find a solution? Call Hahn Hahn Attorneys, as we assist clients in finding solutions. We specialize in consumer and food law, commercial and construction law, forensic investigations, and administrative law. Visit hahnlaw.co.za. That's HAHN. We assist clients nationwide. Hahn Hahn Attorneys, because we care. Don't miss Legal Talk with Hahn Hahn Attorneys, Wednesday mornings at 10 on eRadio.